Hi everyone, my name is Baron Samadi, the Alchemist, and today I would like to talk to you guys about something that's a little different than magic. I've just recently discovered this Mandela effect thing. Uh, I didn't know anything about it. I've been researching it for the past couple, I'm gonna say, past week or two. I've been inundating myself with all this everything, knowing everything about it, from reading articles in the paper, from looking at other people's YouTube videos and really subscribing to them as well, just to be on the update. But I want to tell you guys what the Mandela effect means to me and what it did to me and my concerns on it. Most people don't believe this, but I have a few friends that grew up with me in the same project complex back in the day when I was a youth, and they can tell me 100%, and we can verify with each other 100% what I used to be, the life I had during those times, and versus the life I got now, to which is totally different. I have memories of doing things one way and things being one way, and then it turns out this never happened, and it never occurred to me to check into it because it was the reality I was in. And before I get into it, I'd like to tell you guys I meditate a lot, and I've been meditating since I'm gonna say I've been meditating real heavy. I have a great diet, spiritual meditate twice a day, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and if I feel the need to really change something in my life, I go at it for about an hour or so, but I always end up feeling better and knowing the answer. Well, this time around, I can't find the answer, and the Mandela effect really has helped me in my meditation, and I share that with you guys too. But the main thing about it is, I'm a practitioner of magic. I believe magic is the only thing that's going to dispel the evil in the world, because you have to fight demons with you got to fight demons with the element that they known to fight, that they known to do battle with. Angels fight demons, wizards fight other wizards, but that's my philosophy. But let me get into it. Right, so there was a time I could remember in 2008. In 2008, I remember a reality where there was 49 states. There was 49 states in America. There was 49 states in America, and the 49th, and we was just about, and we had just in 2007. And this is gonna be weird, and I know I've been looking at this. A lot of people say that, but I was crying the other day in the car, and my son and my girl fiance was like, "Baby, you okay?" But I didn't want to tell them this. That the only thing I keep thinking about day in and day out, and dreaming day in, day out, is that life I used to have, and the memories are so vivid. So the names I'm going to mention, I want you guys to look them up. The dates I'm going to remember, I want you guys to look them up. And I'm doing this video, the day is February the 21st, 2018. So it's been a jump, it's been a while. But in 2008, in 2007, 2008, I can remember a time when there was only 49 to 51 states in America. Now, at that time, Alaska and Hawaii had just become the 49th and the 50th state. They had just become that, because it was a big deal. I remember watching CNN. I remember watching some blonde lady on CNN wearing a gray two-piece suit. She was wearing a gray two-piece suit or a beige colored suit, skirt and blouse type blazer suit, female suit, And I could remember her being over there, and she was asking heavyset Samoan and all that, the people over there, they was just doing it. It was a big deal. And I remember this fluently. This is 2007, 2008. Now, during that time, I mean, I was working at this place, at this warehouse in Orlando, Florida, and I was arguing with the guy, with a good friend of mine. I can't mention his name. I don't want him to get mad at me or something like that, because we're not really close, but we just were co-workers, and if he ever see this, I don't know. But me and him were arguing about, okay, now there's 50, now that America has 52 states, who's going to be the next, 51 states, we're going to go to 52 states. So during that time, when Alaska and Hawaii, in 2007, I'm saying this, in 2007 and 2008, Alaska and Hawaii had become the last two states to be added to the United States, because there was 49 prior. Then Alaska first, and then Hawaii last. Now, 2007, 2008, they was it. Now, at that time, the president of the United States, and I kid you not, was Ross Perot. Ross Perot was the president of the United States. He had beat out, if I'm not mistaken, Bush, because we had a conflict in the Middle East. We had some kind of conflict over there in the Middle East or Syria, one of those two. I can't remember per se, but I know what I'm saying. We had a conflict over in that area, to where Ross Perot said he had a private army, and that the United States didn't have to do anything, that he and his private militia army, whatever, would go over there and take care of it. He said, because he had beat out one of the Bushes, I think, for presidency in 2008. He had beat out one of the Bushes, and he said, you know, I'm the president now. We shouldn't spend government dollars on war. Allow me to spend my own personal money, because Ross Perot was like, I'm the richest cat in this thing. Ross Perot had an island. He had established his own island community, his own whatever, on an island that was very close to Puerto Rico. It was close to the United States, but it was very close to Puerto Rico. And at that time, Ross Perot had brokered a deal with the president of Puerto Rico to become the 52nd state. But at this time, now, get this, at this time, Puerto Rico wasn't, poor. Puerto Rico, in this timeline, and I'm kidding you not, I remember this, Puerto Rico was one of the richest countries, and it was an independent country unto itself. It was a small country unto itself, to which Ross Perot went over there to broker a deal with the president of the Puerto Rican, the Puerto Rican president, Puerto Rico's president, I should say, be correct here. And he was brokering a deal with him, to which they was about to sign the contract, and they were scheduled to sign the contract in 2008. Like, they would, I want to say they was like June or July in 2008, they were scheduled to go to Congress and sign this contract. And I remember this because there was a cartoon called the Animaniacs. And the Animaniacs, in my reality, made a reference to Ross Perot. They did a skit where he cuts off a piece of bacon, throw it at the dog. He said, then you do this again, you cut off another piece of bacon. Now, and he gave an analogy on the Animaniac that what that bacon is going to do is that bacon is going to make that economy so fat and gore that when it spits up, it's going to spit up riches. That was Ross Perot's thing with handling business and states. And I had forgotten all about this Ross Perot character. The guy was worth $87 billion from back in the day, from what I used to know, and he actually ran for president as a third party, from what I looked up. But he actually won. That was the first time the third party had performed its strongest and won. So Ross Perot was the president in 2007, 2000. He had beat the election in 2008. President Barack Obama wasn't around. We never heard of President Barack Obama until 2007, when a senator from Chi-Town, I'm gonna say, but Ross Perot was it. But that's the timeline I remember. That's the timeline I can remember vividly, because there was another TV show that I used to watch back in the day called The Shield, and I guarantee you, look this up, just look it up, and And on the shield, one of the PIs made a reference to that he could find somebody, whoever, in the free 52. That's how big this thing, that's how big America gaining 52 states were. They was talking about the free 52. And why would somebody make a statement like that if it wasn't going to be 52 states in America, or if it wasn't already 52 states in America? And I kept hearing that, and I went to work that day and I argued with the guy Rob about it. And I say, man, we gonna have 52 states. And he like, no, leave the Puerto Ricans. But yeah, he was saying the kind of, racial slurs, and I'm like, dude, Puerto Rico is a very, and I like military stuff, and I like, Puerto Rico is a very strategic place, and we want to, have an upper hand in anything dealing with Cuba, because we were still in a Cold War, also with Russia and Cuba in 2007 and 2008 heavily. We were still scared they were going to drop that bomb, just like in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. So we was really doing that. Fidel Castro was still in power. He was a young man. And me and him were arguing about that. And I'm trying not to tear up right now, because it's my reality. And it's like my reality broke. It's like it's shattered glass that I know used to be a full tapestry, but it's shattered glass pieces everywhere. But nevertheless, that was my reality. America had 51 states, Alaska and Hawaii becoming the 49th, or the 50th and the 51st state, with talks of Ross Perot being the president of the United States, because he beat out one of the Bushes, and Ross Perot was gonna make Puerto Rico the 52nd state. And Puerto Rico was a very, very rich country, owned by nobody but the Puerto Rican. Then you had the Cuba. So then a conflict, again, like I said, a conflict started in the Middle East. Somewhere Ross Perot told the United States, I'll have my private army go over there and take care of that. You just hang back. American dollars need to be spent on American soil. Foreign dollars need to be, and he had amassed a great bunch of people from the from this council, some kind of Senate council, NATO. Ross Perot did a talk with NATO, and NATO had agreed to back Ross Perot and his private army. It was Ross Perot had joined the entire damn free world with the United Nations and NATO and all them. They was backing Ross Perot on this war thing to handle that giant conflict that was happening in the Middle East. I can't remember what it was, but everybody was making these signs, peace in the Middle East and all this stuff right here. And it wasn't Islamic people that was being targeted. We knew the exact person who was supposed to be targeted. We knew the exact fashion. They was indistinguishable from it, and they was like the old ways of I think, if I'm not mistaken, we was going against the ones with the red and white, that wear the red and white cloth. I don't know the name, and I don't want to be insensitive, but they had the red and white cloth that symbolized the old way things used to be in, Syria, Egypt, the Middle East, the Muslim community, the Islamic community, I should say. And and they had did something heinous. They had dropped mustard gas around, and Saddam Hussein was a young fellow, not in power yet, but he was going there, and Netanyahu, these names come to mind, but I don't. He had something to do with it, and I don't even know who he is, to be totally honest with you. But that's a reality I lived in. Now, I'm going to say, during that timeline, that's all I can remember from that timeline in 2008. All I can remember from that timeline in 2008. I don't remember logos. I don't remember doing anything else. I don't remember doing anything. I don't remember doing anything other than that. So now, let's fast forward to 2012. And this is a hard one. And I say this very reluctantly, because I want to live forever. I want to live a good, ripe old age, enjoying the ancestors, when the time is right. And I might just come back to this planet as a survivor. I don't know if I'm saying the right word, as another entity coming back here to help out my fellow man become better and bigger and stronger. And that's where my meditation and spirituality comes from. Well, in 2012, I passed away. I died in 2012. And I died of a nuclear attack. We had a nuclear attack on American soil. Somebody dropped a nuclear bomb on us. Or it's either, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. God, forgive me. It comes to me ever so often. There wasn't a nuclear attack on the planet. Our sun burnt out. And that's what it was. Our sun burnt out. And I remember it getting really hot. It was so hot, people was walking around with their shirt, and my daddy made the comment, and we laughed about it, that man, he say, look how the sun whooping that dude's ass. And the light was beating on the dude, and he just was drinking all the water he can out of a water hose, because I grew up in the project. And the guy was sweating, and he's like, that sun beating that dude's ass. And we just thought that was funny because we were riding around his pickup truck with AC. And I remember going home that day, and I went in my house, and I heard a click, sort of like that, like by a series of 4 or 5 clicks. And I saw like the scale that the Libras hold, the Lady Justice hold. She had a scale in her hand like this, and all of a sudden the scale balance dropped like this and tilted, poof. And after that, everything got real bright, and it's like when you get bathed in a nice warm light. And I got bathed in a nice warm light, and I didn't have no fears, no worries, and it was just, and I still get the tingles, and I've been getting it all my life, up and down the spine, right under the cerebral cortex, right here, that links that little part of the brain that hooks the spine. I get that, and it still fills me with that beautiful feeling that I'll never feel again. And I guess that was the feeling of death release, the sweet release, how they call it. I don't know. But I have a vivid memory of everything being stripped away. I remember seeing the scale drop. I heard it. And then there was no more. But then, less than 12 hours later, I remember being back in 2012. I tried to chalk it up, to like I was going through something. My mama was laying up in the hospital passing away. She had a stroke. And I tried to chalk it up to that. And it wasn't that. Because my mama passed away, August 17th of 2013. But she had stayed in a nursing home for a whole year and a half. So where did that time go? Where did my timeline change? What shifted? So during that time, I was meditating real heavy, and I was able to do things right leading up to my mama passing, and continued on to this day. Certain things I can do with my mind as far as creating my own world, all the way up until this point, up until like couple months ago, and I've gotten really good at just manifesting anything I want. If I say I get it, I guarantee in 3 months I got it. But I know the rules to manifesting, that I can't sit up here and say, okay, I want $1 million. Because that manifest come with issues and problems, because the money is gonna come to you, but it comes with problems and issues. So you got to do that. Or I can't manifest the perfect wife. It's all about everything being liquid, flowing, and merging together. So I'm not gonna philosophize you here, if that's a word, but I'm just telling you my experience. So I remember dying in a nuclear blast, and it was kind of like that Terminator shit where Sarah Connor holds the gate and the nuclear bomb coming. But fam, our sun burnt out a long time ago. And our timeline was reset back from 2008. The 2008 timeline, if you look really good at your timeline and you think about your memories, everything from 2008 is where you'll really get the gist of when you came into contact, when your memories really, so you may have memories of a kid, but in 2008, people are going to say that in 2008, things was a little different. They can remember things a little different. The 51, 52 states, Puerto Rico being the richest port, it wasn't poor. Cuba, we still at the Cuban massacre. Ross Perot being a dominant figure in politics. George Bush being a clown because he had done 2 terms. I mean, it's all over. Our sun was approaching the highest temperatures of it is El Nino, hurricanes. Our world was in disaster and turmoil. It was like the end of days. The global warming was so freaking much that the polar ice cap was melted to a polar bear. Was literally on the ice dying because it was so hot in Antarctica or Alaska. I don't know the difference between the two. Sorry, my apologies. But I know the polar bear was changing temperatures, and some of the people up there, they was trying to eat polar bears, but the polar bear had a toxin in its meat. I remember that. I remember they say the polar bear has a toxin woven into its fiber. They had already tested that because the indigenous people to those cold countries had started eating the polar bear because the polar bear was coming out looking for food within the towns and shit. So they was killing them because we was going through that time where everybody was starving. 2008, everybody was starving. People was eating dogs in my neighborhood. They was eating anything they could find, possums. And I remember seeing a guy had skinned the dog and rinsing down the water with the dog, and I'm like, is he crazy? But this is all in 2007, 2008. Our world was coming to an end in 2007, 2008, where people just didn't give a shit. You know, and we had a big conflict in the Middle East to which President, I'm going to say Ross Perot, you know, took the mantle, and he was joining Puerto Rico and buying Puerto Rico and merging with Puerto Rico to be a strategic country. And I remember the flux of all Hispanics coming into New York and Florida, and it was like that. This is the time I remember. In 2012, we passed away. In 2012, our sun burnt out. I'm looking at this beautiful sky right now, and our sun burnt out. When I get off this camera, I'm gonna cry a little bit because every time I think about it, I know what's going on. It's like up here it has awakened, and I wonder, like I said to myself one time, like, you know, Eddie, how can you understand philosophy? How can you understand magic, and how can you communicate with your inner self, and how can you create and manifest? It's because I had already crossed over, and we all did. We had already crossed over, you know, from this physical plane in 2012, December 2012, whatever, end of the world, Mayan calendar. They was right. They got it right. They got it right. And this is the 3rd time. That was the 3rd time. Now we're going to be a 4th time where this happens. And that's from the Hopi philosophy. So the Mayans, you wonder why a race of people disappeared in the Mayans and all that stuff, when you find all these abandoned ancient cities, it's because their timeline restarted and nobody moved back in to inhabit those timelines again. No, it's like when the guy on Jurassic Park said, if you drop water on your hand, boom, and it make a drop, and then you try to drop another drop of water, it won't flow the same. It won't even hit the same spot. It'll go just slightly to the edge, and that's what happened to Mayans and Teotihuacan, and I don't know the name of these countries, but you have these Mayan pyramids that's totally empty, Quintaquala and all that stuff there. That's what happened. But yeah, we died, man, in 2012. The Mayan calendar was right. December, everything was a big reset button. And I want you guys to really research this, because there was a cartoon called Ben 10, to where Ben 10 did a reference to he had to go and restart the universe. He turned into this shadow figure with stars all in him, like a universe stars. I forget what they call him. And he went and talked to the mega entities that rule the galaxy within that thing, and they say they can do anything. So he asked them to recreate the Earth And he say they say we can't recreate the earth because it's already destroyed. What you know, what you have will be gone. He say, but the thing say, but we can create you a new universe. To which they gave Ben 10 to go ahead and utilize that particular alien's power to new universe. So as the scene ends, everything in the universe was being copied, everything in the universe. And when he copied everything in the universe, there were slight variations. Things were different. Like they was under this shop called Mr. Smoothie or something. And it used to be just like a cup with a smiley face. Now the cup had legs and a straw. And Ben made the comment going off that the smoothie didn't taste the same. And that's the kind of reality we're facing right now with this Mandela effect. We remember things being a certain way, but because this universe was rebooted and restarted and just recreated, and they try to do the best they can to make it the same, things are still off. That's why we having vivid memories of this. And I'm going to tell you another one. This is my opinion. Here's another thing. This is my opinion, right? You ever look at somebody and you looking at friends and family and people and you say that, man, you look young for your age. And everybody's starting to look, the older people are starting to look young. I'm about to be 40. And I get it all the time, even with this beard. I know I shave it off, I look pretty young, as all men do. But even with this beard, they about, man, you look like you like 27, 28. Comment at the bottom. I know I'm going to get some. But they say you look really young and fit to be, you know, close to 40, dude. 40 and close. And I'm like, I don't know. But if they say that if our timeline was restarted in 2012 and it's been 6 years, 6 to 7 years, 6 to 7 years they took off our life. So if that timeline was started then, that means they would have to create us at the point of that 2012, 5 or 6 years, 7 years, all the way up into this point, and take their memory. So they created our body then. So I mean, that's just a theory of pop news or whatever you call it. 7 years of our cells degenerating and all that stuff right there was halted. And then they just like, okay, they died at this, the universe died at this, and we created the universe, everything stopped. It took 7 years to recreate this universe, to which we don't know, we was in a loop outside of time. This is my belief, just saying. And then they brought us back, we're 7 years younger, we're in a new age, but we're 7 years younger. That's why a lot of us haven't aged out like we should in this hard living. Now, partying, drinking, and we got these nice young bodies, physically fit, to which people are living longer. It's not that people are living longer. We got set times. It's just the simple fact that we was created, the universe was started over from here to here. But I'm not a physicist or anything of quantum mechanics or anything like that. I just wanted to share that with you, and it makes me sad. But I'm feeling real good talking to somebody about this, because I don't want to be that guy to say, okay, this guy is crazy. Bad enough people think I'm crazy when I tell them I can help them with their problems, and I do magic for them, and I start manifesting. I say, okay, I speak what I need into existence in less than a week to 3 months. I get what I'm speaking. So I didn't want to be that guy to be the conspiracy theories. And let me hit you with CERN concerning the Mandela effect. It is my utter belief that CERN did us a favor. That CERN got the attentions of the people when we was on the brink of nuclear war, or we was on the brink of war, and that sun was about to explode and wipe out our galaxy. CERN got the attention by doing that Hadron Collider thing, and they got the attention saying we was becoming too powerful. And just like in the Bible, which I don't read the Bible like that, you know, at the building of Babylon, they had to come down and split up our language. Well, this time they didn't come down and split up our language. They came down and rescued us, and CERN got their attention. So I don't think CERN is doing really anything bad. I think CERN had a very big hand at rebooting the world, because let me tell you something, nobody want to die. Not even the people at CERN. Even if you know what's on the other side, you don't want to go there, because you can taste food, feel things, enjoy passion, sex, kissing, loving. You can enjoy your emotions here versus being part of the collective up there. And we still have a lot to learn here. But that's my personal philosophy, and I'm going to back off of that. But, yeah, man. Concerning the Mandela effect, we died. December 21st, 2012, whatever that Mayan calendar say, they had it absolutely correct. For that time period, we passed away. And a new universe was created with all of us as carbon copy as hell. I remember going to sleep and waking up feeling like I had so much power and I was so strong, and it was just odd. And when I woke up the next day, my brain was hurting so bad, and I couldn't grasp reality, and the world looked a little pinkish to me. My eyes looked a little pinkish, then it turned a little like beige around, like I was seeing rose-colored eyes or something. Then everything started clearing up, and I just remember being able to look at a beam, because I worked in a warehouse. I remember looking at a beam and being able to see the molecules moving. And I was telling the guy, I'm like, hey man, I can see the weakness in that. And I told this guy, I said, hey man, that beam is gonna fall because it's a black spot right there. And nobody listened, and they were stacking the water on it. And boom, lo and behold, the beam collapsed. But the guy said, and the guy heeded my warning. I kid you not, Lord, thinking, because at least 2 people would have been killed at that warehouse. The guy heeded my warning, and he had already went and put a brace up, like some kind of, and a metal brace, and he screwed it. And only thing kept that beam from actually falling and all that product falling down and killing the guy that was on the forklift was the simple fact that he had took my advice, the crazy boy, and put a brace bar, and it stopped it from cracking. Then they was able to, hold up the rack and remove that and secure it, saving a couple $100,000 in product. So for about 3 years, 4 years, I was able to, not to say about 2.5 years, I was able to see things and taste colors, and I'm telling you, I was able to taste colors. I was able to feel sound. It's like all my senses was off, because everybody was merging back. And again, I refer to a cartoon show, Futurama. That was one of my favorite shows. And in Futurama, the universe was recreated in that same time zone, around by 2012. The universe was recreated. In The Simpsons, there was a thing where the universe was recreated. A lot of cartoons that the memory had to be circulated so somebody could remember. And that's my experience with the Mandela effect. And I'm not going to edit anything in this video. What you see right now is I'm going to upload it, the mistakes, the babbling, all that stuff. I'm going to upload it because I want you guys to know that this is a very true thing, and I'm sincere about what I'm saying. And excuse me for fidgeting again. I normally would be crying. I'd be crying because it's so real, in the pain of knowing I had a life. And it's one thing I would like to share. I was married at one point, to which I know the girl I was married to got a divorce from her and everything. Don't know why we got a divorce. I can't remember why we got a divorce. She can't remember. I spoke to her. She like, I don't remember. You wasn't a bad husband, I mean, that was then when I talked to her, like in 2009 or so. I mean, in 2013, a while back ago. And she was like, I just don't know why we got a divorce. We can't figure for the life of us why we got a divorce. And for a long time, I forgot how she looked. I used to like, man, do you remember? I checked my computers. I had no pictures of her. I was like, wow. But I remember being married, and I remember being married to her. I remember her family, and she don't remember why we got a divorce. I can't remember why we got a divorce. I mean, but we've been divorced now for a long time. Damn it, 8, 9 years, and we never even seen each other in 7 or 6 years. But the last time we talked was at a local grocery market, and I didn't even remember who she was. She had to walk up to me and say, Eddie. I'm like, oh, hey, how you? And then, but if you marry somebody, you don't forget them. That's how I know our time. That's a solidifying moment for me, that my timeline was restarted in 2008. But the sun burnt out in 2012, and our universe was destroyed in a solar blast. That's all. If you have any questions or comments, I got a couple more things I would like to say, but I know I'm double talking, and I'm saying a lot of things. I'm giving a lot of information, and when I watch this back, I'm going to say, oh God, I could have told him about this, I could have told him about that. But it feels good to get this memory out, and to know that I'm not crazy, and to be able to say anything. But that 51, 52 states, Alaska. Now, and get this out just before I close out on that. I did research, and Alaska and Hawaii became part of the United States in 1959. If I wasn't born in 1959, I was born in 78. But I remember the media hype. So these universes merging really serious, because I don't think it's a merger. I don't think nothing is a merger. I think this is an actual recreation. I think this is a brand new universe. I don't know if it's a simulation. I'm not going to go that far off the scale, but it could be. But I remember that sun exploding and everybody dying, because I remember the skin being burned away from my flesh, and it felt good. I'm not going to even jive. When I died, it felt so good and so peaceful. It was the best feeling. I mean, I told you that tingle up my spine. That you'll never experience that unless you're passing off. And that's how it happened. I mean, there's a lot of things about this Mandela effect that bothers me, you know, like to say the snake and the vulture on the pharaoh's death mask headdress. In that timeline, there was only just the cobra, you know, symbolizing his mastery over the earth, and the kundalini, his earthly self. Now, where the buzzard come from over the air, I don't know. You know, continents was in different places. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I'll post another video in between me doing my other stuff. I mean, I am what I am, and I do what I do, and I understand this very well. It's just that I want to upload this video because it's something that I don't understand. I'm trying to rationalize it. And by the way, just a question: has the center of your chest been hurting lately? And I've watched somebody's video where they say that, okay, the Mandela effect is taking over our body, Enrique, that our body has been restructuring itself to where we get a chest bone. I went to the doctor, and I got the doctor's paper. I got to put it out there because I got my information. But I used to bang myself in the chest from 2012 on forward, and I was like, I got to be having a heart attack, and something got to be happening. EKG, put me in that little circle machine, I mean, heart rhythmatician, all that stuff there, and nothing was wrong with this. They like, man, nothing's wrong with you. They even did something with the things that filter the water and all that stuff, the liver. I'm sorry. They did something with the liver, and they say, well, your liver is good and you're immune to, they told me they tested it, and they say you're immune to hepatitis A and hepatitis C, to which I never heard of those diseases until, you know, like 3 years ago when I got a full checkup again. I go every year. And I say, so what the fuck about B? Then nobody wanted to talk about hepatitis B. But hepatitis A and hepatitis C I'm immune to, and I never heard of this hepatitis at all. Then my kidneys, they did a sonogram on my kidneys, and they say your kidneys have doubled in size and they're really great. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, why is all they say you're very healthy. My blood flow, they say something about the blood flowing, your body was flowing pretty good at rate. And I'm like, why is they telling me this foreign stuff from when I got a checkup? Why are they going on analogy. Do these people know something? Do they have a prior chart that they going by? And they saying, okay, everything is progressing that shit. But to this day, I still get chest pains out of nowhere. No hole in my heart, no heart murmur, and it's not a panic attack because I'm very calm. Just something to think about. This Mandela effect thing is changing everything. This recreation of our universe is changing everything. Our universe was destroyed, man. We died, bro. And the powers that be them mystical or alien, they brought us all back. They recreated us. They did us a damn favor. CERN, I ain't got no issue with CERN. Everybody say it's CERN's fault. It's CERN's fault for creating the black hole and the black hole. Well, if they did it, thank you, CERN. Because you just brought me back. I really enjoy my life. I enjoy looking at my kids. I enjoy looking at my fiance. She's beautiful. I'm beautiful. You brought me back and you gave me a hell of a body. Broad, strong, hell of a brain. Because up until 2012, and I'm not afraid to admit this, I was fucking stupid. I only thought about money, clothes, and hoes, you know, food and being the coolest. And my book learning wasn't all of that. 2012, I went to school and I got an education again. I did my follow-up education. I joined college. I was quoting philosophy, like I was able to remember stuff. And I'm like, and I asked myself, where did all this knowledge come from? I guess when they created me, they unlocked something inside us. When they recreated us, they unlocked a lot of stuff inside us. That's why we can relate to each other by feelings now, and not just the Cro-Magnon state of grunts and moans and come. But again, I'm just going off the rails. But hey, if you like this, this is about a Mandela effect, and I'm gonna tag it Mandela effect. But my experience with the Mandela effect and my reality with the Mandela effect. But just have an open mind about this thing, man, and don't get locked down to it. Oh, before I remember telling you guys that I was gonna tell you guys how me understanding this shit and how me reliving these past, I ain't gonna say past lives, how me remembering that my death and destruction, how it made me, being able better to connect with my ancestors, the spirit world, and meditate even more, and to be able to create my life. It was only, and I cried really hard for like 3 days straight, and nobody knew what it is. And when my kids came home from school, I would suck it up. When I had to go to do a speech or something, I had to suck it up. But when I was by myself driving the car in the shower, I would cry because I understood that when they say time is fluid, when they say you have to be willing to give up everything in order to get everything, give up everything in order to get everything, it's true. The body don't mean nothing. It's just your consciousness that means something. So evolve quick. And I'm not afraid anymore. I had a lot of fear in me. And I may do another video on the Mandela effect and tell you guys what I really were back in the past, which nobody believes. I got vivid memories. I'll show you an old picture to which, surprisingly, my auntie kept. My auntie kept this picture and she showed it to me, and it's like, whoa. And I didn't even know they had that memory of me. I remember doing certain things, but I just don't remember taking that picture, because at that time, what I was into, I wouldn't have took a picture. But understanding that we was recreated, that I've crossed that borderline, I've died and come back, and you died and come back, and the world was ended, and we all was it allowed me to tap into my inner self and to know myself a lot more in the spirit world. And I'm good. We good. Spirits are good. Ancestors are good. They shook them up a little bit, but everything is okay. So that's just it. So hey, if you like what I say, if you have any questions, email me at axbaronsemity.alchemy@gmail.com. I know it's pretty long, but I'll leave it in this proof so you can see it. And I got a lot of memories, but I just said a lot to pack it in here. And now that I got this out, I can really write it down next time. And be able to address it one by one and the concern one by one. So again, thank you guys for tuning into my channel. I know it was a little different than what I normally do, dealing with positive ritual work and spell work. But again, thank you guys for listening, for patronizing and listening to this. If you managed to get through the whole thing, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you heard half of it, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you got any comments that you want to, please email me, and I'll be glad to post a video about that. And again, I thank you again. You guys, I don't feel like I should give you my channel name because this wasn't about what I do, but I am Baron Samadi, the Alchemist, and the only thing I say this, and I've been saying this for years, you know, trust the you in the universe, because at the end of the day, you are all you got. Thank you again.